County Live is brought to you in part by the Madison County Health Department, protecting, promoting, and improving the health of our community. The all-new Chevy Silverado, now available at Jack Burford Chevrolet and always available at jackburford.com. And by Twine Market and Design on 3rd Street in Richmond. And by kymedia.net, digital media services from top-of-the-line video production to live streaming services. Hey everybody, welcome back to Madison County Live with me and Colleen and special guest, one of the organizers with Electric Berea, Jeff Richey. So Jeff, welcome to the show, and we're pretty much going to let you go and tell us what's going on in Berea.
Well, first of all, thanks very much for having me on and spending a little bit of time helping folks understand what's going on August 22nd. Really appreciate that support. Electric Berea is putting on its second annual band showcase, which the first annual was May of 2019. And the purpose of these events, the purpose of any Electric Berea event, this will be our third, is to provide an opportunity for both local musicians here in Madison County and the surrounding area to perform here in Madison County, and also, of course, for the community to hear the musicians who are their neighbors here in Madison County in their home area. And the reason I think that's an important mission is because a lot of the musicians in this area don't get heard locally. They have to go to Lexington or Louisville or Cincinnati or Knoxville or else to find performance opportunities. And while I don't want to discourage folks from finding work, we also want to make sure that people know that right next door to them is a phenomenal array of diverse musical talent. And so that is why we would do any of these events. But in this particular case, we had originally scheduled the second annual for May of 2020, right. And I think we all know that that didn't happen, along with a lot of other things that were planned for the spring. Due to COVID-19. And so we deliberated, watched and waited, and talked with folks in Frankfurt, particularly recently, about whether and how such an event could even go on. And we're very aware that many people continue to be very cautious, probably rightly so, about the risk of infection, and we respect the decision made by other organizations in our area and other festivals and so forth to cancel completely their series. But we also look to the example of some other organizations like the Richmond Area Arts Council, which has made a decision to sort of navigate a middle path. Instead of canceling its summer music series completely or proceeding as if there was no health emergency, which is also not wise, they decided to go forward with a pretty clear public understanding and expectation about wearing masks, social distancing, etc., keeping the events outdoors, and we've decided to follow suit. And so we hope that on August 22nd, when this event occurs from 2 to 8 at the Spotlight Playhouse parking lot in Berea, that folks will understand and respect and follow those rules. That is the only way that we're going to get to continue in the short term to enjoy these kinds of local musical events. And from our point of view, we can still have some nice things, even in the COVID-19 era, but it's absolutely dependent upon whether folks care enough about those nice things to follow the simple rules that have been put out there. And so we hope that people will comply. There's not much more we can do than put those expectations out there, and so we hope people will respond.
Right. So, Jeff, what are the rules exactly? What are you going by for your event on August 22nd?
Well, there'll be 3 areas. First of all, it's a kind of a massive parking lot, so there's a lot of outdoor space. Right. This is at the Spotlight Playhouse, which is just off of Highway 25, which in Berea we call Richmond Road. And so there'll be 3 areas within that parking lot. There'll be the stage area, there'll be an audience area, and there'll be a food vendor area. We'll have 2 food trucks, Barnyard Grub and The Local, both vending food. Admission to the event, by the way, is free. The food will not be free,
Cool.
but everything else. And we're going to create buffer zones between all three of those areas. So first of all, we're going to try to keep those areas distinct from each other. So unfortunately, no stage diving or mosh pits or anything like that.
Crowd surfing or anything like that.
Right, not this time. But the other issue is we're asking everybody to wear masks, in the audience at least, and certainly the food servers.
Sure.
And we're asking folks to observe social distancing. So we're going to arrange the food trucks so that lines can form that are well apart from the audience area or the stage area. And we're going to indicate, just as restaurants have done all over the country and the world, where safe spacing would occur. So we're going to lay things out physically in a way that we hope makes it clear. And we're going to reiterate those messages from the stage continuously. We'll have a different band on every hour on the hour from 2 through 8 p.m. And so we're going to use those intervals between performances to remind folks of not only what they need to do, but why they need to do it. Local live music is a treasure, and is also a bit of an endangered species.
Sure.
And so we need to make sure that people respond to what we've set up for them appropriately. But that's our plan, Randy.
Okay, excellent. So Colleen, it looks like you have a question. Whenever she puts on her glasses, that means she has a question, Jeff.
Well, I do have a question. You also have. I have a furry audience member that is very excited to hear more about this. So, Jeff, tell us some of the bands that will be featured at this special event.
Sure. Well, we've tried to, as we always do, operate with two criteria. One is local, meaning Madison County or the surrounding area, and the other is diverse. To backtrack for a second, one of the other things that makes Electric Berea a little different, and it's expressed in the name, is we have a bias towards amplified music. Not there's anything wrong with acoustic music or mixing acoustic and electric instrumentation, but we find that it's a lot easier around here to hear purely acoustic music than other kinds of music, at least in a public setting. And so we want to compensate for that by creating special opportunities. So all the bands we've chosen fit into those criteria. So the Sparrowhawks from Jackson County, from McKee, great family-based kind of folk rock sort of band. So people who are fans of 60s and 70s kind of folk rock and soft rock type stuff I think will hear familiar tunes and enjoy, and they just give a great performance. They're just a wonderfully warm group of folks. The Tussie Pena Trio, some folks may know Julie and Gary Tussie have a local radio show, and Julie also has a TV program. They are paired with a guitarist named Jesse Pena, and they do blues and standards and that kind of stuff. So we're excited about that. Blind Ricky, which has members from a broad area, but concentrated its membership here in Madison County. I like to describe them as not your granddaddy's bluegrass band. They come from a bluegrass point of origin, but they've stepped on beyond that. Cool. And so they're really exciting to hear. I could go on. We were halfway through the lineup, but I don't know if that's all you needed or not.
Well, and of course we want to tell everybody where to get this information to, Jeff. So where do they go to find out the times, the dates, and the lineup that's going to be there?
Well, the best place to find all the information would be on Facebook. And even if you're not on Facebook, you can access the Electric Berea page because it's public, it's not private. So Facebook.com/Electric Berea. Sure. And all the information is there.
All right. Well, that's fantastic.
There's also been publicity. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say there's posters around town, and there's publicity through WEKU, WBON, and the Richmond Register as well. And of course, you're helping us out, so we very much appreciate that.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. And that is August the 22nd from 2 to 8, correct?
2 to 8. Free admission, all ages. Bring your mask. Bring a chair. actually, all over the country, people have started to do drive-in concerts.
Yep.
And there's certainly enough room in that lot for people to do that. In fact, last spring when we held the first event, we noticed that some people were doing that anyway.
Sure.
So that's another option for folks.
Cool. All right. Well, Jeff, check it out, people. Visit their Facebook page. Like he said, it's public. Bring your mask, social distance, eat some great food, listen to some great music Saturday, August the 22nd.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. And folks, we'll be right back after this. And Colleen, I hear Petey, so you might need to address her.
She has never been more excited about an event. Thanks for joining us.